10,000 years, wood built our world. Every house, every bridge, every ship started with a tree. But right now in China, engineers are building 7-story towers and truck-bearing bridges out of something that grows back in under 10 years. Something that used to be called a hut material. Something that was never even a tree at all. It bends without breaking, it locks away carbon instead of releasing it, and it is already strong enough to carry vehicles across rivers. This sounds insane, but it is happening right now today in 2026. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you will understand exactly how a plant that engineers laughed at for a century became one of the most exciting building materials on the planet. If you are enjoying this so far, hit like. It genuinely helps this channel keep making videos like this one. And subscribe so you do not miss what comes next, because what you are about to see is not a tiny lab experiment. It is full-sized buildings, real bridges, and a national plan that is already changing how an entire country builds. And the strangest part of this whole story is that the answer was sitting in plain sight for almost 40 years before anyone took it seriously. Let's get into it. The old problem with wood. Wood has been humanity's favorite building material since the very beginning. It is strong, it is warm, and anyone with a sharp blade can shape it into almost anything. People have been cutting down trees and turning them into shelter for thousands and thousands of years, long before anyone had a word for engineering. But wood has one big weakness that nobody likes to talk about. It is slow. A tree that is strong enough to use for construction takes between 25 and 75 years to grow. Think about that for a second. A tree planted today might not be ready to build with until your grandchildren are adults. The world simply cannot wait that long anymore. Cities are growing faster than ever before, and forests cannot keep up with that kind of demand. So builders turn to steel and concrete instead. These materials are fast and strong, but they come with a heavy price. Together, steel and concrete production is responsible for more than 15% of all the carbon dioxide that humans release into the air every single year. That is the trap builders have been stuck in for decades. The slow material is gentle on the planet but cannot keep up. The fast materials can keep up but are hurting the planet. For a long time, this felt like a problem with no real solution. You either picked slow and green or fast and dirty. There was no third option. That is until one country decided to look at an old overlooked plant in a completely new way. To understand why that plant took so long to get noticed, we need to look at what made it so promising and so frustrating at the same time. The plant nobody took seriously. The plant is bamboo. And here is something that might surprise you. Bamboo is not actually a tree at all. It is a grass, the same family as the grass in your backyard, just much bigger. On paper, bamboo sounds almost too good to be true. It is the fastest growing plant on the entire planet. Some types of bamboo can grow more than 1 meter in a single day. That means if you watched it closely enough, you could almost see it moving. While a tree takes decades to reach full strength, bamboo gets there in just 6 to 9 years. Here is another detail that makes bamboo special. Because it is a grass, cutting it down does not kill it. The roots stay alive underground and a brand new stalk simply grows back. No replanting, no bare hillsides, no waiting for years before the land is useful again. Now, let's talk about strength, because this is where things start to sound unbelievable. Pound for pound, bamboo can handle being pulled and stretched better than steel. Its raw strength is more than double that of regular wood. People in Asia have known this for thousands of years. They built homes, bridges, and scaffolding out of bamboo long before modern engineering existed. Even today, workers in some cities still climb bamboo scaffolding to build massive skyscrapers, trusting it with their own safety every single day. So if bamboo is this fast, this strong, and this eco-friendly, why didn't engineers start using it for serious buildings decades ago? To answer that, we need to talk about bamboo's biggest weakness, the one that kept it stuck on construction sites as scaffolding instead of as the actual building. Why engineers said no for 100 years. A natural bamboo stalk looks great in theory, but in real construction it causes nothing but headaches. First, it is hollow, which makes it hard to connect pieces together. Second, it is round, which is awkward for builders who are used to flat square beams. Third, and this is a big one, its strength is not consistent. One stock might be incredibly strong while another cut from the very same plant might be weak and unreliable. There is more. If you try to drive a bolt or nail through bamboo, it tends to split right down the middle. And if it is not treated properly, bamboo rots quickly and attracts insects looking for an easy meal. Now, think about how buildings actually get approved. A building inspector cannot walk into a construction site and say, "This beam is probably strong enough." Engineers need beams that perform exactly the same way every single time, whether it is freezing cold, scorching hot, or 30 years down the road. Wild, untreated bamboo could never promise that kind of consistency. Because of all this, the engineering world gave bamboo a nickname that stuck for nearly a century. They called it the poor man's timber. A material good enough for huts, but never good enough for real cities. For a long time, that was the end of the story, and most engineers simply stopped thinking about bamboo as anything more than a backyard material. But here is the twist. The breakthrough that changed everything was not about finding a better type of bamboo. It was about changing how people thought about bamboo completely, and that idea came from a place nobody expected. The crushing idea that changed everything. Here is the question that flipped the entire industry upside down. What if instead of treating bamboo like wood, cutting it into neat planks and beams, engineers treated it like raw material, almost like flour for bread? That idea led to something called bamboo scrimber, and the process used to make it is honestly a little wild to picture. It starts with a whole bamboo stock, but instead of cutting it into boards, machines crush it and tear it apart along its natural grain. The industry actually calls this step fiberizing. What comes out the other side does not look anything like lumber. It looks like a loose stringy pile of fibers, almost like rough straw. And here's the brilliant part. Every single weakness bamboo had the hollow center, the round shape, the splitting, the uneven strength simply disappears. Why? Because the original stock no longer exists. It has been completely broken down into raw fiber. From there, workers dry the fibers and soak them in a special resin so everything will stick together. Then they line up all the fibers in the same direction and press them. And we are not talking about a gentle squeeze. These fiber mats get squeezed under extreme pressure and heated at the same time, forcing out almost all the air trapped inside. What comes out of that press is the part that makes engineers stop in their tracks. It is a dense block of material that can actually be heavier than water with a hardness that beats most hardwoods you can buy today. A wild, unpredictable plant has been transformed into a uniform, dependable, and shockingly, this process wastes us almost nothing. About 80% of the original bamboo stock gets used, including the bent, low-quality pieces that would normally be thrown away. The numbers here are honestly hard to believe. High-quality bamboo scrimber has tested with compressive strength over 160 megapascals and bending strength climbing past 300. Remember, this is a grass that regrows in under 10 years, now performing like premium engineered hardwood. Here is something that might really surprise you. This is not some brand new invention from a lab last year. The very first high-strength version of this material was actually created in China back in 1987 at Nanjing Forestry University. The science has quietly been improving for almost 40 years. What changed recently was not the chemistry behind it. What changed was the ambition to actually use it at a massive scale. And turning that ambition into reality meant clearing one more huge hurdle that had nothing to do with chemistry at all. From hut material to building code. Having a strong material sitting in a lab is impressive, but it does not change the world on its own. Plenty of brilliant inventions never make it past the testing stage. The real obstacle that decides whether a material becomes a global industry is something boring sounding but incredibly important. The building code. Building codes change slowly on purpose. The cost of getting a structural material wrong is not just about money. It is about buildings staying standing. An engineer cannot put a new material into a school or a hospital just because one study says it seems strong. There needs to be years of testing, agreed standards, and a clear paper trail that any inspector anywhere can check and trust. For most of bamboo's history, that kind of proof simply did not exist. And honestly, even today, there is still a gap. When researchers recently studied companies making structural bamboo products around the world, they found something interesting. Only about a third of them published clear information about how strong their products actually were, and even fewer held basic environmental certifications. If you are an architect trying to use this material on a real project, that lack of information is a real problem. You cannot build something important on numbers nobody is willing to show you. But that gap is closing, and it is closing fast. Engineered bamboo is now being tested against the same international standards used for timber. Research on the topic has exploded. Nearly 7,000 studies on engineered bamboo were published in just the 10 years leading up to 2024. Every single one of those studies adds another piece of solid evidence that inspectors and engineers need before they can sign off on using it. Slowly, bamboo stopped being seen as an interesting curiosity and started becoming something engineers could confidently put on official paperwork. And once that confidence arrived, people stopped using bamboo for floors and decking. They started building things with it that nobody would have approved just 10 years earlier. And what they built next is the part of this story that really turns heads. Towers, bridges, and a national plan. For a long time, the joke about bamboo buildings was that they were fine as long as they stayed 1 story tall in a warm climate. A nice garden pavilion, a footbridge, maybe a cozy eco-resort cabin, cute, but not exactly serious engineering. Then everything changed. In China, engineers designed and built what is now recognized as the world's first 7-story building made mainly from engineered bamboo. This was not a regular building with a little bamboo decoration on the walls. This was a real multi-story structure where the columns, the beams, and the floors were all built using pre-fabricated engineered bamboo. 7 full stories made from a plant the construction world had laughed off as a hut material just 1 generation earlier, and it did not stop with buildings. One engineer who has spent decades working between universities in China and the United States used engineered bamboo to build road bridges strong enough to carry actual vehicles. One of his bridges in Hunan province was built using pre-fabricated bamboo pieces, assembled by just a small team of workers in about 1 week without any heavy construction equipment. A bridge made out of grass strong enough for a truck to drive across it. This is the part that genuinely shocks people in the construction industry. This is not a cute sustainable side project anymore. Engineered bamboo is doing the job that used to belong only to steel and concrete, carrying real weight in real buildings that real people walk into every single day. And once a material can do that, a much bigger question naturally comes up. Not can this work, but how far can this actually go? Because the country behind this breakthrough is not treating it like a fun experiment. They are treating it like national policy, and the scale of that plan is honestly bigger than most people realize. In 2022, China teamed up with the International Bamboo and Rattan Organization to launch a global initiative with a simple, bold name: bamboo as a substitute for plastic. Chinese leadership backed this publicly and connected it directly to the country's climate goals. The very next year, China rolled out a 3-year national plan to scale up bamboo as a replacement for high-emission materials like steel and concrete. The plan included setting up demonstration zones across the country to prove this industry could work at a massive scale. This is the difference between a cool material and a true movement. China holds roughly one-fifth of the entire world's bamboo supply, and it has built an entire industrial chain to process it from forest to factory to finished building beam. According to the country's own reports, China's bamboo forests absorb and store around 300 million tons of carbon every single year just by growing naturally. And there is real money backing this vision too. China's bamboo industry has a target of reaching a value of 700 billion yuan by 2025 and a full trillion yuan by 2035. When a government puts numbers that large on the table, the rest of the world starts paying very close attention and starts competing. When researchers mapped out companies making structural bamboo worldwide, they found that roughly 2 out of every 3 were based in China. But here is the interesting part. New companies are now popping up in the United States, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Singapore. Even South America, which has its own giant bamboo species, is starting to wake up to its value as an export crop. The technology China refined is spreading outward the same way every real industry eventually does. What is pushing this growth is not simply a love for plants. It comes down to practical math. If you are a builder dealing with new carbon taxes and tighter environmental rules, a material that grows back in under 10 years and locks carbon inside your building instead of releasing it into the sky is not just a nice idea. It is a real competitive advantage, and no serious construction company can afford to ignore that advantage for very long. But before we get too carried away picturing a world built entirely out of grass, there is an honest part of this story that deserves just as much attention: the honest catch. A dense, impressive bamboo scrimber is held together using resin, often a type called phenolic resin. That resin is what gives the material its strength and resistance to water. But it also means the finished beam is not some pure natural piece of plant material anymore. It is a composite. Questions about how it performs during a fire, how long it lasts over decades, and what happens to all that resin once a building is eventually torn down are still being studied carefully by engineers. There is also a real challenge around where this manufacturing can actually happen. Turning raw bamboo into strong structural beams requires factories, fiber processing machines, resin baths, and heavy hydraulic presses. China built this entire industrial chain over several decades, a country with plenty of wild bamboo. But no industrial base cannot simply flip a switch and start producing certified building beams overnight. The very places that could benefit the most from a cheap, fast-growing building material are often the furthest away from the equipment needed to actually make it. Closing that gap is not really a science problem anymore. It is an investment problem, a training problem, and a policy problem. And as we already covered, building codes move slowly on purpose because safety always comes first. None of this erases what the science has already proven. It simply marks the distance between what is possible today and what still needs to be built out across the rest of the world. And based on everything we have seen so far, that distance is closing faster than most people in the industry ever expected. Which brings us back to the bigger picture this whole story has been building toward. Engineers took a plant that the construction world dismissed as a material for huts. They stopped trying to use it like ordinary wood, crushed it down into raw fiber, and pressed it back together into something stronger than the hardwood it is replacing. It grows back in under 10 years without needing to be replanted. It locks carbon away instead of releasing it, and right now it is already holding up 7-story buildings and carrying trucks safely across rivers. For thousands of years, building bigger and better meant cutting down something that took an entire lifetime to grow back. For the first time, we have a serious structural material that grows back before a child even finishes school. That is genuinely new and genuinely exciting. If this video changed the way you look at the chair you are sitting in or the next building you walk into, smash that like button. It really helps this channel keep going. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story like this one. And let me know in the comments if a plant that experts laughed at for 100 years turned out to be this powerful. What else do you think we might be overlooking right in front of us?